Hello, everybody, and welcome to Workspace Invaders. My name's James, and I'm here with another episode of Workspace Invaders where we seek out the most amazing Typeform solutions in the universe. Today, we are going on an epic adventure to meet a man who made an epic adventure. That man is Chris Garcia Peak. He's the founder of Cock and Bull, which is a experimental theatre company from Chicago in the US. Now, Chris, so he runs this sort of traditional theatre company, but he wrote to us here at the Typeform community a little while ago about a project that he was working on to kind of start exploring the digital space. So. Chris wrote to us he had kind of an issue with his logic, and we were intrigued because this sounded like a quite a unique solution that he was working on. Essentially, he was creating an interactive story with Typeform, which people do. You know, it's quite a common use case, but this one used video, and it sounded kind of a little bit special. So when Chris had finished, we got in touch again. He told us about the Octopus. Oh. The Octopus is essentially what Chris made, which is, and his team, of course, they made a choose your own adventure story, fully immersive experience with video, visuals, really kind of cool atmospheric piece using Typeform and remote actors. So we wanted to find out how this all came about. So we called up with Chris in an interview a couple of weeks ago. And he explained how it all started here with this virtual festival they ran during lockdown, where they were starting to kind of get submissions from people all over the world who were producing art and theatre. And this kind of sparked his imagination and the imagination of the team at Cock and Bull, and they started thinking, hey, hang on a minute, how can we explore the digital space a bit more to kind of collaborate remotely and virtually to create something cool and something new. So let's hear from Chris. We'll revisit the interview that we had, and he's going to tell us how this sessions initiative that they started during lockdown sparked his idea for the octopus, basically, or the seed of the baby octopus. Here's Chris.
We did a global call for artists to send us work they had created during lockdown in their own countries. So we got filmmakers, we got podcast radio dramas, we got all this variety of work, and we created this virtual festival. So the next project to work on, we thought, hey, this is really cool to kind of work virtually. It's making us think differently. What could we do next? And so I was like, we need to do a digital project. That was really the goal. Like, let's do something digitally. It originated with the idea of doing a short film. So we thought, hey, let's do a short film. This will be super cool. What should we do? And we all started talking about conspiracy theories. And one of my co-artistic directors, Sarah Hecht, who's the story developer on the Octopus, we were just talking about conspiracy theories so much. We were like, why don't we do something about conspiracy theories? It seems so like such an easy thing. So we started to investigate it. We actually have a company member who lives in London now. And and we were like, this will be great. We can still work with her. We can work with other actors, kind of all over that we wanted to work with. That was the other kind of exciting thing about working virtually. And so that was the initial seed, was like, let's do something about conspiracy theories. We know it's digital. We were like, we want it all to be tied together. And then initially, I came up with what we really found actually, there was a pattern with people who got involved in conspiracy theories, was that they hated their lives, right? They usually got fired from their job. Their girlfriend or boyfriend broke up with them. It was always the same story, and their lives just get worse when they get involved in these conspiracy theories. So that was the initial idea. I created a very short story of somebody who loses their job, their girlfriend breaks up with them, their dog runs away, and that was it. And I created it in a Mad Libs format. Do you know what Mad Libs is?
It rings a bell. Remind me.
Yeah, so it's kind of a kids game, and it basically are these stories, and it'll have fillers for you to write in, like nouns, adverbs, adjectives, and you write these silly stories with your kids. Apparently, Mad Libs was a much bigger influence on me in my life than I realized, and so I created a Mad Libs for my company, and it was a writing assignment. And sometimes we work with writing assignments or performative assignments, and everyone's responses were so unique and funny. And so my initial goal was to share everyone's content. And I thought, hey, let's just share the content and then we'll all judge and vote on what's the best. And so I was trying to find a survey kind of software or platform to use, and where we could share and then vote on content. And that's originally how it started.
So yeah, so Chris was there looking around for survey software, and he checked out Typeform, kind of played around with it, and like many people do actually with Typeform, he suddenly started sort of thinking, hang on a minute, maybe there's more to Typeform than just making surveys, which there is, by the way. So here's kind of how he took that sort of seed of an idea and ran with it with Typeform.
Instead of doing a survey, I discovered Typeform, and playing around with some of the kind of examples you guys had on Typeform, I was like, wow, this is really interesting. I loved that it was very visual and graphic, and our work is very visual. We have a highly visual aesthetic. Normally in a performative in-person space, we work with designers, and we have a very kind of high design aesthetic. So that was the first thing that really attracted me to Typeform, was the possibility of incorporating video and sound and images and icons. And I was like, ooh, this is really cool. I would say for me also kind of the benefit of Typeform was it seemed approachable. I could actually go in and create the logic and kind of program the logic myself without feeling like I needed a computer science degree.
Yeah, that's a good point, Chris. That was done. So Chris had decided to kind of take the plunge and use Typeform. So the next step was for them to recruit remotely a bunch of actors, so to start casting actors. So Chris explains kind of basically how that process worked, and then how that translated into the Typeform solution.
Working virtually allowed us to work with actors not only in Chicago. We worked with a great actor named Nathan Streifel in Los Angeles. We worked with our company member Christine King in London. We worked with an actor named Tillman in Germany. We were able to work with an actor in China. So we were able to really work with a variety of people. So we cast first. And then that was kind of our next phase. And as we started to cast, I actually then started to program the logic in and put in our very super basic story. So I had a shell already in Typeform, and our plan was then to insert as we produced kind of our videos. And we really started fleshing out also the copy. We tell the story in two ways. One is through video and images, and then one through copy and kind of this narrative story. So there's actually quite a lot of text in the piece where we kind of talk about, we want you to read these character descriptions and get an idea who these people are, these crazy people in this world are. And so that was kind of part of it too. And then my company member, Sarah Hecht, is our story developer and editor. So Sarah and I would meet and see how can we kind of structure the story differently. And we really started to think about what were the different outs, is what we kind of called them for people. How does somebody get kicked out of the story? How does somebody take a different turn and they have to suddenly have a roadblock? So we started placing some of those things into, which really makes it a much more interactive story and much more fun to play, I think.
So this was all last year when Chris and the team were building it. The good news is the Octopus is now live. So as of I think last week or the week before, the Octopus went live on the Cock and Bull website. So it's kind of embedded there. You can try it for yourself. We'll put the link up. But let's have Chris give us a walkthrough of this, because this is a really special experience, and I want you guys to kind of have a look and kind of see the care in which this has kind of been created in terms of the narrative and the production, you know. So let's have Chris walk us through it, and then afterwards we'll ask Chris to reveal kind of how it all works in Typeform. So let's see the solution first.
So this is when people join the game and they're told us to choose your own adventure journey. What we do ask is that we recommend using headphones for the full experience of the Octopus, since sound design is a huge part of the design of the Octopus. And we've also added in that it takes 10 to 30 minutes to complete, so you could get kicked out quickly, or you could play for a full experience. And it is not sufficient for work without headphones. So we thought that was pretty important to include. So yeah, we're going to dive in. Yeah, it's a good one. We're going to dive in, and I already have your name in there. So we have a welcome screen. The Octopus would like to get acquainted with you on a first name basis. What is your name? James. And the Octopus starts to ask you if you've ever wanted a new life, and it's trying to really entice you into the world of a conspiracy theory, and you're going to select choose a new life. And then the Octopus is a self-guided journey to help you, James, find a more exciting life. Are you ready? Begin my journey. And then we start by giving you two options, and this is kind of how we really structured. You can take two paths, the relationship or the career path. And I'd say let's start with the career path and jump in. So it says, James, you were always quite mercenary. You have selected the career path. You work for one of the government agencies listed below. So we've given you these options here. Why don't we select the Ministry of Underground Communications?
Yeah, that sounds mysterious.
that sounds great. So then we have, and this is where I was saying we have quite a lot of text, but it's really a character description. So this says, meet Mildred Bridge, Human Resources Manager. Mildred Bridge was recently promoted as Human Resources Manager. Her keen attention to detail makes her accomplished in her role. Last Christmas, Mildred was visited by three spirits after firing the Assistant Human Resources Manager for taking a half day on Christmas Eve. The visitations made little impact. An avid supporter of complete automation and AI, Mildred believes the worker is the root cause of the failure of every company. Outside of her usual self-imposed 90 hours work week, Mildred enjoys trapping small mice, the history of needlepoint, and broth. And we can just play some of the video.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Telepathy, mind control, mind numbing, and the extraction of thought. Welcome to the Ministry of Underground Communication. I'm Mildred Bridge. I am your Human Resources Manager. I hope you feel comfortable coming to me with any problems. I have expectations of you. For example, your appearance should be tidy. Well.
Okay, and let's stop. James, were you able to hear the audio of that? Because I can't hear it.
Yes, I did. Yeah,
okay.
It was spooky in the extreme.
Okay.
Yeah, but incredibly well acted. Can I just stop and ask you a question there? Like
yeah.
The kind of the production stuff there in the background, like with the music and the sound effects and stuff and the backgrounds. Is this something that, like, how do you produce that?
Like how do we do this? So what we really did was we tried to take advantage of how actors can self-tape today, and that's really what they had to learn, learn to do working virtually. And since the pandemic, actors have had to become pretty sharp at self-taping. And what that means is having a green screen set up with lighting and mics, and they can then submit themselves to auditions continually. So what we did is actors that didn't have a self-tape setup, we got a grant to actually send them green screens, mics, light rings. And we then, my co-artistic director and co-director, Matt Reich, on the piece, we observed actors via Zoom self-taping. So we watched them self-tape, and then actors were responsible for sending us the videos that they self-taped. And we would kind of coach them, and a lot of what they say is improvised, and they have to hit on certain topics or certain lines to make sure we're connecting the logic. And that's it. And then we video edited, video designed the images, and then Matt designed the sound for each image.
Okay.
For each video. Cool. So let's just keep going, and we'll just kind of go through kind of quickly. So you're then given a choice of which job you'd like to have. And again, the idea is that we're building up that each of these are horrible. So we're going to choose complacency examiner. Hello, complacency examiner, you've chosen wisely. And we have another message from Mildred Bridge.
You're our new complacency examiner. I hope you're proud of yourself. We've chosen you for this job because you have no ambitions. You feel entirely comfortable where you are, which is exactly where we want you. I hope you've looked deep inside yourself to see if you're just settling for this job or if you truly want it. Your job is to talk to each employee and make sure.
And I'm going to go ahead and stop this. And kind of the style of what we wanted for the videos. If you see the style, we tried to be really specific. We wanted everything to be super saturated, and the videos are all in kind of these jump cuts. We wanted it to look like this weird underground lair that somebody had created these weird videos. They also all have this logo of the Octopus logo, which we also thought looked like somebody had just created this, with somebody being the octopus, which for us is a real octopus. So that's kind of how the style of the videos. And so then it says, wow, the octopus really seems to like you, James. Aren't you a lucky duck? And again, here we've taken advantage of, which we loved, was the Pexel video integration that you can do with Typeform, which for us really kind of helps support the story.
I think it works incredibly well.
Great. So here it says, James, what's wrong? Your new complacency examiner job at the Ministry of Underground Communications wasn't exactly what you thought it would be. Well, you wanted a new life, didn't you? Let's make it better. James, the Octopus believes you need more than just a job. What do you think? Let's go ahead and select, no, I'm fine with just employment. No one likes to be alone, James. The Octopus has decided you need a pet. Help the Octopus choose your newfound friend. Which do you prefer? James, which do you prefer?
I'll go with Slime.
All right, let's go with Slime. So congratulations, you are now the proud companion of a very selfish mollusk. Sound familiar? We think you'll be great friends. So let's continue. You're then asked to choose a hobby. Again, we used supporting kind of the story images, which is one of the other things we loved with Typeform, is just the using Pexel and the images and videos you can use. So we're going to choose playing Fortnite. Then it says, James, it seems that your new obsession with playing Fortnite blindfolded has caused the very selfish mollusk to run away. The Octopus believes you are making poor choices. The Octopus lays the framework. You choose your destiny. The story now for us is really the Octopus starts to gaslight you and starts to gaslight the player. And for us, that was a really important part of the story, that you are the one making these horrible choices yourself.
So it always plays out like this. You always end up kind of getting derided at this point.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And everything just starts to gets worse. So James, don't panic. Tomorrow is the start of a new day. Make me happy, Octopus. The next day, your alarm goes off. You wake up all ready for a bright new beginning. You arrive at work and your human resources manager, Mildred Bridge, meets with you. What does she say? And here's an official message from Mildred Bridge. And if we play it.
You're late. I don't care. You're fired. Your reckless attempts at self-expression.
And she winds up firing you. So again, you then ask the Octopus for help. And we can keep going. Help me, Octopus. They then are invited to visit your family. So you could say, yes, I need to visit my family. And then we have our family here. This is actually one of our company members' families that we forced them to get together to record this. And so we have our family video. We'll just play a little bit of it. And again, you now go visit your family, and your family basically are awful and they hate you. So everything continues to get worse.
Yeah. So then this kind of plays out for. It can be up to like 30 minutes of you kind of exploring all of the different choices, making these decisions, and then, as Chris says, ultimately kind of failing. but it all culminates on you meeting the octopus. So let's kind of check out the octopus. Spoiler alert, by the way. Skip this bit if you haven't played it yet.
And here's the octopus. So the octopus is a self-proclaimed deity seeking world domination and mind control. And let's play the video of the octopus.
You have chosen wisely. Hello, I am the octopus. Some call me a self-proclaimed deity seeking world domination and mind control. I prefer to call myself an 8-armed goddess wanting to improve mankind to equal that of my species. Let's see, a few things about myself. I have 3 hearts. I actually have 2 legs and 6 arms. I was one of the creators of the self-help tests in the late 1960s when I lived in a rather small aquarium at the home of Dr. Aldous Vixen, the late 1960s psychology guru who met his untimely end by suffocation.
Yeah, so that was it. That was the octopus. And now let's go inside the octopus. And yeah, Chris will take us into how it looks in here, which is basically in the Typeform. So there's some crazy logic going on in here. Let's have Chris explain it.
So here's behind the scenes of the octopus. So you'll see on the left, you'll see that we have 142 kind of questions set up. So it's quite a lot. Let's look at my logic map here. I love showing off my logic map.
Yeah, I'm sure you probably would. I'm amazed it loads so quickly with so many questions.
Yeah, I found that it's loaded really quickly. You'll see all the logic that we've kind of programmed.
Wow.
And
oh my word, this is something else.
So as you can tell, I like to show it off.
Yeah.
So this is all the logic, and what I've loved is being able to just go to each different source and click on it and then be able to program and alter and change the logic has been really easy to do for us. I also wanted to mention something else, just like a hint that you guys posted was to write the logic out. And at some point I was like, oh my God, why haven't I done this? And so I created, I'm just going to show you this crazy thing, this massive scroll. Yeah, this giant scroll, if you can see it, maybe you can't, but it's a giant scroll basically of all of our logic. And I wrote it all out, and that really then made me just understand how it all was working, where I could then quickly go into Typeform and be like, oh, take this out, take this out, take this out. So writing it down was like an awesome, technique to use.
Yeah.
And then something else I kind of wanted to point out. We also created a donation form. This is the personality test that's available in Typeform. But something else just to point out as kind of tips. I've loved being able to you really use these buttons and changing the text in the buttons to just make it more fun and interactive for people. And then for our videos, we actually used Vimeo was what we used, and we found we had more control of how it visually looked with Vimeo. And then kind of the other kind of thing here is that I think for us, I spent an equal amount of time in finding the right videos to use to help support the story. So this to me was really the benefit of one of the major benefits of Typeform was being able to find the videos on Pexel. That was really helpful.
So yeah, I mean, the guys at Cock and Bull have created a real masterpiece there, and Chris believes he's not finished there. This has given him the impetus to explore this kind of new ways of storytelling, and here he points out that this can be kind of a powerful thing for brands too, to be able to kind of tell stories in a richer way. So let's round off with Chris with his thoughts on this.
I hope that we keep exploring working digitally in an interactive way. That's really been kind of it's a new trend in theater and performance is kind of this gamification of theater. which is really somebody participating and doing the choose your own adventure. So things from escape rooms to companies that have immersive theater and programming. It's that idea of kind of game formance is what it can also be called. So I hope we continue that. I also think it's interesting to see how we can partner. I would love for us to be able to find partners to show how we could tell brand stories, company stories in new creative ways. That's really a goal of mine, is that we start to partner with brands and companies to do creative storytelling with them, and use platforms like Typeform to kind of tell their brands and their creative storytelling as well.
Bravo, Chris, and bravo everyone involved in the Octopus project. Really inspiring stuff, and it's great to hear that this has kind of spurred the team on to kind of think more about this. I think it's a really interesting avenue for exploration. So well done, Chris. Again, thanks for taking time to join us here. And for you folks at home, what to do next? Well, check this out, the Octopus, because it really is. It's a work of art, quite literally. It's fun to play. It's exciting, and it's a really good expression of what's possible with Typeform. So with that in mind, do check out Logic if you haven't yet, or if you have but you haven't really thought about the true capabilities of what's possible with Logic in Typeform. Have a look. We've got plenty of materials on our help center, plenty of articles that can inspire you of interesting things to do. Chris mentioned the Pexels integration. So these are the animated kind of videos that appear behind in the background of the Octopus. Now, these are available out of the box in Typeform. You can search for them. There's more information in this blog post here. Also videos. If you haven't explored videos yet with Typeform, there's some resources here that I'll link to that can help you out. You can upload YouTube or Vimeo. Chris used Vimeo in particular for this one, but yeah, again, plenty of options there, plenty of things to explore. So yeah, all that's left to say is thank you for joining us. Do check us out again on Workspace Invaders, and yeah, enjoy using Typeform, and come to the Typeform community for more inspiration and more episodes of Workspace Invaders. Cheers everyone, thanks for joining, and